people. Your Bajan person, Bajan queen, I call myself, is back at you today. And what I'm going to teach you to do today is oxtail stew. So I'm going to give it to you in little steps, bit by bit. I've got a kilo of oxtail. I went to the butcher's and I got them to cut it up for me really nicely in smaller bits, because sometimes I find when I buy it at the supermarket it's really chunky. I don't like it like that because this cooks quicker. So I've got 1 kilo of that, and in that now I'm going to be putting a teaspoon of each of these. So get these. Get your paprika. You can get chili, you know, ground chili, but I like crushed chilies. You can put that, or if you want the chili powder, do that. A quart of this, just a little bit, or a little dash of ground clove. I like that. And don't tell me, oh, you know, because lots of people say, oh, I don't put that, but I put that in mine. This, some teaspoon of black pepper, garlic granules. Gonna put my stock cube in there, and I'm going to put this as well, my all-purpose seasoning, as I said, about 1 teaspoon or just over that, and I'm going to put that all into my oxtail. Okay, next step. I grew up seeing my nanny do this, my grandmother, and I have taken that from her and I do this. I brown some sugar in 1 tablespoon of oil. Let that heat. You see that? Let that heat up. You don't want it overly hot. Yeah, so I've got my oil, it's heating up, and now I've got a tablespoon, just over a tablespoon of brown sugar, and I'm going to add that into that pan. Turn it up, and that's going to start the process of heating itself up. Put in a little bit more. See, I just add as I know. Let it cook. It's going to start turning a bit golden brown. And I've added all of that ingredients that you just heard me talk about to my oxtail. And that's going to be going in here in a few minutes. I just want it to brown, because that's going to help give a nice color to my oxtail. There you go. Don't want it too dark. You just want it that kind of goldeny color. And as soon as it starts to get like that, it's going to froth over a little bit. Because later I'm going to be putting some browning in there, so that will also brown it. Okay, so here goes. When that's done, I'm going to empty my oxtails in. You hear that already sizzling? And I'm going to let that sizzle down for a bit, and I'll get back to you in a minute. I'm going to keep stirring that. You'll see that after. And as you can hear the oxtail sizzling. And whilst that's there, I'm going to show you the ingredients that I'm going to add to that rather quickly. I've had a really large tomato. Some people use tomato sauce. I like my fresh tomatoes. I took off all the skin. I've got 2 spring onions. I've got some thyme. I've got a really large onion which I chopped up. I've got green bell pepper and orange, and I've got 2 cloves of garlic chopped up really finely, and I'm going to add that in a minute. Can you see how brown that is? That's what you're looking for. I'm going to put that in a minute. I'm going to add all of those that I just showed you into my oxtail. Okay, as I said, I've added all of those ingredients in. I forgot one of the most important ingredients. That's my scotch bonnet, and that's going in there again whole. If you like pepper, you like spicy food, you can cut half of that up and put it in, but I like a flavor to my dinner. I like a flavor to my stew, so that's going to stay in there. I'm going to cover that with 4 cups of water to begin with to see how it goes, and I'll let you see that after. So I'm going to put that in now, and that will let it cook itself down until those are really nice and brown. I'm going to cover the saucepan after. Okay, as I said, I've added 4 cups of water to that, and now I'm going to add soya. Light soya, you can put dark soya. Put a tablespoon of that, and the browning is going to go in there. Don't worry, I'm going to stir it in nicely after this. This is just to show you. But I put 1 teaspoon of that in there. I'm going to make sure I do that later. Just scrape it in. But that's what you're going to do. You're going to let that boil slowly on a nice medium heat until those oxtails are cooked. I'll come back to you at the end to let you see what happens there. Okay, back at you. An hour and a half has gone, and this is my oxtail. It's boiled down to this. What I've done, and I'm going to say this again, this is about taste. I tasted it early and I thought, hang about, let me just put another stock cube in there. And I did that, and that added to the taste, that made the flavor much nicer. So cooking is all about tasting. You know, as they say, I believe anyone can cook. It's just the way you taste and keep checking your meal, whatever you're cooking. So that's done. And what I'm going for now is this can of butter beans. I'm going to empty this down into my, I'm not going to stir it. So it's going to go in there. And I'm just going to let that cook down just as a finish to my meal. And I still had this, as I said. I put that back in. It is still whole, because what I did just before I took this off, I took that out for a few minutes and I've added it back. So my scotch bonnet has stayed in there all this time, and all it's done is added to the flavor of my oxtail stew. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to let that simmer for a little bit, let that thickness come together, and I'm about to plate this up with some rice and some veg, and I'll show you that as an end product. So yeah, my oxtail is almost finished. It's complete from start to finish. I showed you the process, and hopefully you can do this easy step by step to make yourself your very own oxtail stew. Have a go. As I said, anyone can cook, and don't let anyone tell you about, I don't put this and it's your taste, it's your flavor. You add what you want. We're all different. So let's just get cooking. This is the end product, turned off, and that's my oxtail stew finished. The meat's fallen off the bone, and that's exactly what you want. So in a second, I'm going to plate this up. I'm going to show you what a real Caribbean plate would look like should you want to visit my Caribbean island of Barbados. You might not get oxtail, you will. You might get some chicken stew, but you will get great flavors. So come on down. I'm going to show you my plate in a few minutes. Okay, this is a perfect time to end my vlog. My oxtail stew plated up. Rice and peas, which I showed you earlier in one of my earlier vlogs. That avocado, cucumber salad. I've got some coleslaw, which goes on any Caribbean plate, especially on a Sunday, and some plantain. So as I said, don't be afraid to cook. Get in that kitchen, plate up, get your oxtail stew. It is absolutely delicious. I've tasted it, and as I said, I've put another stock cube because I wanted my flavors to really pop out. So thank you for joining today, and I'll see you another time. Take care.